So, are stud extractors actually worth the money? I don't think so. Let's go take a look at them and see what they actually are. So this is the extractor set. It comes in 4 different sizes. This is M6 by 1, M8 by 1¼ M10 by 1¼ and M10 by 1½. So I guess that's 4 common sizes. These are the installers, we'll have a little look at those, and these are the extractors. So these work very much like your double nut. These work more like a dome nut, as in a single nut. The way they work is quite simple. You've got a little screw in the end with a hex socket. If we just take that out, and this is the one, or the size I would have used. Of course I used the extractor, but this is the installer. So you screw your stud in loosely, or just until it seats. You can see this has got a ball bearing in the end. So you just screw this over the stud until it finds its way all the way down to the plain part of the shaft and won't go any further. And at that point you can just turn this to do it up. If you don't have that plain shaft, put the ball bearing in and then put your screw in and hold the main part with a spanner while you tighten that up, and it essentially just creates, because of the ball bearing, a sort of a frictionless dome nut. Because if you just put a regular dome nut on there and tightened it up, you might not be able to undo the dome nut again. Yeah, you might, but it might back this stud back out if you just undo the dome nut again to obviously slip the flange of the exhaust on. So what this does is it allows you to hold this once you've tightened it up and back off to take any pressure off, and of course there's a ball bearing in there, which means there's pretty much no friction. So essentially this then just becomes loose, and you can then just remove it without backing away, backing out the stud. That's how that works. So it's better than just using a regular dome nut for those reasons. If you just do it up with a dome nut, of course, then you've got to hold the stud in some way when you undo the dome nut again. With this, of course, you don't, because you can simply just back out that centre piece there. These are the extractors. They act very much like your double nut. Why they're so fussy and complicated, I don't know, but you just essentially tighten them together. So you just screw that on all the way down to the plain portion of the shaft. You then just screw this on until it seats home. You then just tighten them up together as much as you can without threading anything, and then the nut closest to the head you would then back out, not this part but this part. And as you can see, they do work quite effectively. There is 4 different sizes, but pretty much for motorcycles, regular old smallish. Whether they're any different on any of your much bigger machines, I don't know, but for motorcycles typically your M6 by 1 is your size. Are they worth it? I don't think so. To be perfectly honest, the double nut method works just as well for installing or extracting, and these are going to be about a tenner on eBay or Amazon. And how many times you're going to use them on a motorbike? I don't use them at all. I just use double nuts, and if ever I needed a different size for a couple of quid, you could just go to the local hardware store. Here in the UK, of course, we've got B&Q, where you can pretty much buy any size and thread you need for a couple of quid. It's just not worth spending a tenner on an entire set that you might use 2 or 3 times. So I don't think they're worth the money, I don't think they're necessary, and I don't really use this set at all. But they do work, and if you're the type that just prefers to use the right tool then go for it. But you don't need to. The double nut method works just fine. Well, I hope you found that useful. As you can see, I'm making some really good progress on cleaning up all of these crankcases and cylinder heads, removing all the old horrible paint. I'm just trying to get them into a really good state, ready for the reassembly. I've got a little bit more work to do on them. I'm waiting for some high temperature paint primers, clear coats, etc. to arrive, and then I'm going to start looking at the bits that I need to reassemble: gasket sets, piston rings, that kind of thing. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I will see you next time.